So, the cinema post 1947, uh, it took over as almost like a catalyst for Nehruvian vision of what he envisioned for the newly independent country. Now, this was projected because he was the rightful heir to this independence struggle. He was, after all, the first prime minister. He had taken over from the idea of the new what you call independence. After the independence movement, he was the new uh, leader for the country of the independent India. So what we see in this is the ideals of the Nehruvian vision were being put into all fields of the art and cultural life, all walks of cultural life. These visions were being reflected. Now, if you understand the idea of socialism, you'll see that some of these qualities, the vision of Nehru, some of these important points that form part of this socialism is secularism, tolerance, economic equality, social equality. Now, these are the Nehru's ideas for national progress. He envisions this for all Indians. Now, this was Nehru's vision, and some of these were uh, the ideals which cinema took upon itself to propagate to the masses. So, the dreams of the common man and woman of India were waiting to be fulfilled. Now, you see, there was a lot of hope that the independent India had given to its citizens. There was a lot of hope. People were looking up to its government. People were looking up to Nehru to fulfill their dreams and wishes. And that could only be achieved through some of these socialist ideals that Nehru had seen for India. Now, one of the important constituents of the Indian class, in fact, more so during those period, was that farmers and peasants had struggled really hard for India's independence. Now, this was they were the staunchest supporters of Indian National Congress during the independence movement. So, what I mean by this is the aims and ideals, the dreams of this mass of people needed to be fulfilled by Nehru. So, some of the national cinema actually then took it upon themselves to show the lives of the peasant and farmer, and Mother India is not different from this narrative. Mother India deals with this the story, the narrative from the farming to the modern technology. So we will come to it now. So in the opening shot of the film, you will see Radha, the protagonist, who is our Mother India, lifts a lump of earth, and she takes it very close to her face and lets the earth. So it's a very symbolic shot of how the Mother Earth is in her. So she's very close to Mother Earth. She's, after all, Mother India. She's an aged lady now in the opening shot. And the camera pans during this period, and it catches sights of the technological progress that has already happened in the Indian society, because we are talking about an independent nation. So there is a transformation happening already in rural India. So you will notice in this panning shot high tension electrical wires that are carrying electricity. You see pakka roads, cars, construction material, vehicle, tractors, a bridge construction, and a dam site, more importantly, which was the occasion in which this whole short scene is being created. You will also see a group of men and who had their Gandhi cap on, who are there around her, in front of Radha, and Radha is there to inaugurate. So she is being requested by these people to inaugurate the new dam, the new sign of prosperity that would arrive at the village through the dam. and we all know how damn. So all of those are important metaphors that are there in the opening shot of the film itself. But for the next 3 hours of the film, we actually witness. So the whole film is in flashback. So we are witness to this transformation of Mother India through the life of Radha. We are witnessing change. We are witnessing change in morality. We are witnessing change in the social and economic structure. We are witnessing the transformation in the village life. So we are witness to the actual change that is envisioned in the ideals of socialism. So the woman is central to this representation of Mehboob Khan, the woman as the Mother India, the woman as the central character. Although this woman, the concept of the woman being central to this, is an idea that Mehboob Khan had noticed in his own life. So there is a story to this. So this virtuous Indian woman, a perfect Indian woman, a, a beautiful bride who is given away in marriage by the to the husband by the parents. So these are some of the memories with which the concept of Radha is envisioned by Mehboob Khan. So he envisions a wife who is virtuous, who is pious, who goes to live with her husband and never questions him, and lives a life which is, according to Mehboob Khan, is a virtuous life. But the film also has this narrative element where we see a tug of war happening between man and nature. Radha's struggle is a very representable of the idea of a man and nature conflict. Her struggle is of the mother earth and nature. So this allegory is already present there in the film, because we see in the film the husband of Radha abandons the family because he cannot provide for the family, and so disillusioned he leaves the family. So Radha is without any manly protection throughout the plot of the film until her two sons grow up and become the new protagonist in the story. So within the confines of this male idea of the male in this film, we notice that she resists sexual temptations, advances from the village moneylender, who is a very important character in the film, by the way. But yet throughout she remains poor, but she never loses her virtues. She is highly respected by the villagers. So this is the ideal woman that is envisioned by Mehboob Khan, the ideal Indian woman. In the story we will notice that it's Biju, actually the younger son of the two, who cannot come to terms with his mother's poverty. So mother is poor, she has struggled all her life, but Biju despises the village moneylender because he has taken away all the wealth that this family had once upon a time. So the character of Biju is very important. Biju does not abide by the rules of the village community, and thus he goes to live away with the gang of dacoits. So if you notice now, the very interestingly, the 1950s society, the village society per se, offers no space to this protagonist called Biju because he is the angry young man. Whereas in the mid 1970s, we see the protagonist is a angry young man and who has space. So there is this village and city dichotomy also between the 50s and the 70s. Whereas the village is a virtuous moral entity, the city was a Western corrupted idea where all the corruption used to happen. So the angry young man in the 70s, played by Amitabh Bachchan in many roles, would be unacceptable in the 1950s village. So this idealized village then is a metaphor for the true Indian national character that Nehru was talking about. And these virtues have to be upheld. So that is a very important transformation that happens. So one day in the film, if you notice, one day Biju returns to the village. This is towards the end of the film, and Biju returns to the village, and he, because the daughter of the village lender is about to get married, and he loves her, and then he kills the money lender, retrieves those bangles that were his mother's bangle that were lying with the money lender, and he kidnaps the daughter, and he is galloping away on the horse with the lady. This is the moment that you see Radha, who stands for the whole village. She fires on her son, but she rushes to the dying son and holds him, and this is the moment that Biju hands over the bangles to the mother. Now this, you will notice that Radha becomes the voice for the whole village. She is the upkeeper of the morality and the virtue of the village. So the village is very, very upright, moralistic one as a whole. So Radha does what is constitutionally she is asked to do. She is asked to uphold the values that she has kept all her life. She has not fallen for the sexual trap of the moneylender. She has not given up when she was waist deep in water trying to save her two little sons. So here also she kills her own son because she has to uphold the values. It is the sacrifice of the individual for the ideal nation. Now this is the whole idea of the Nehruvian nation. So you will notice in this scene that the blood of Biju her hand, Radha's hand, is wet with the blood of Biju's blood, and it is juxtaposed with the flowing water of the newly opened canal in the present, and the red color turns into the transparent color of water and it flows into the fields. So the past has been wiped away, the colors of blood have been wiped away into the new past. So this is the whole plot of Mother India, where individual good the good of the nation is more important than the individual good. Now there have been other, as I had told you, there are other filmmakers also, like Bimal Raj Do Bigha Zameen and Dharti Ke Lal. These are films which have also contributed to this kind of a nation building exercise. This were very similar to this idea of the Mother India. This was the initial neo-realist films in the Indian cinema, and which proceeded in this manner of a nation building process, trying to create an Indian national cinema. So you will notice that women in Mehboob Khan's films, they uphold this existing social order. She is suppressed by her because this is the ideology, the public morality that she is supposed to uphold. This is the Indian woman. So this icon is a invented Indian tradition, because this Indian iconistic Indian tradition, because she is occupying a position where there is no scope for Radha to have an emancipatory position. She is there to uphold the position of woman per se. The status quo is maintained. She is not given an emancipatory role. So post independence, this self-determined technological modernization of society is seen with Mother India, but in reality it is men actually who are the true subjects of its making, because as you see, the role of woman, she has been idealized, she is worshipped, she is Mother India, but she is put in a position, so she is now duty bound to uphold the ideal Indian woman. So this invented new tradition. So this modern nation that we are talking about, this modernization that we are talking about, this change in society that we are talking about, it's all about the making of men and not women. And this is the status quo that is also carried forward by people like Mehboob Khan in his films.